Greetings and welcome everybody to the Mackenzie HIELO Academy. This is our masterclass series and it's an honor to have you here this evening. We are continuing with our theme and particularly the body doesn't lie. That is the theme for this evening, and it's looking at the hidden conversations between the mind, the body and the emotions. And this is one of the areas where I really do delve deeply into generational patterns repeatedly and have a look at the real root cause of dis-ease, the disorder in the body. And every single time there's an emotion behind it. So this is a very important one. Having a look at the body, and the body knows the truth. It's called a gut feel. The Chinese call the stomach the second brain, actually. So the question this evening, which is the theme, are we the ancestors of an endangered species? And then I'm going to ask you, if your body could speak now, what would it say? What emotion comes up for you? And ask yourself, where do I feel it in my body? And that's the beginning of us starting to process and look at these hidden conversations that are happening between the mind, body, and the emotion. So the body might say, I'm exhausted. I can't carry the stress anymore. It might say, I need to nourish myself, forgive myself. I need hope. Perhaps your body's been speaking to you for years and years and years and knocking on the door and knocking on the door and knocking on the door. Have we been listening? Through fatigue, anxiety, poor sleep, headaches, through digestive system problems, through inflammation, through pain. But we've never learnt its language, the language of the body. Tonight is not about diagnosing dis-ease. It's about learning to listen. So let's get started and have a look at why we are becoming more sick when we're living in one of the most technologically advanced times in history. East and West. We have more information than any previous generation, more medicine, more supplements, more technology. Yet, chronic disease continues to increase. Hospitals continue to overflow. Why do you think this is? Perhaps we've become very good at treating symptoms, but not always as good at asking why they developed. This is where prevention begins. So the body is a totally holistic, integrated system. All the parts are connected. That's the first thing. No organs work alone. Don't just fix the thyroid. There's a reason why, let's say, the thyroid is diseased. And it's linked to the entire body. The brain communicates with the gut, for example. The gut communicates with the immune system. The hormones influence emotions. And it goes on. Nutrition influences every single cell. Everything is connected. That is the essence of holistic healthcare, where I come from. Holistic quantum well-being. So if we have a look at the biology of stress, and I'm talking about the brain, the nervous system, the adrenal response, sleep, inflammation, energy, hormones, immune resilience. Chronic stress is going to affect multiple systems of the body. And it can influence its overall well-being. So if the body is knocking at the door and it's got a message for us and we need to learn the language of the body, what is it trying to tell you? let me enlighten you a little bit for those that don't know. Some do know already. But for example, the liver stores anger, the gallbladder resentment and bitterness. So across various healing traditions, practitioners have observed that emotional experiences and physical well-being interact in complex ways. Modern science has also recognized that chronic stress and emotional well-being can influence many aspects of physical health. So stress is a massive indicator. I reckon it's responsible for 95% of all disorder in the body. And it's brought about by our emotional well-being, our state, our own barometer. We know how well we feel. We know how well this being is. Nobody can measure it. They can try that. Yes, they can look at serotonin levels. That's true. Our happy hormones, they can definitely do that. But actually give it a rating, which is relative to you, is what you do with your own internal barometer. So in this masterclass, we're going to explore the different organs, stress, physiology, emotional well-being, lifestyle patterns, and aspects of physical health. And I do this every single day, every single appointment, every consultation, every drip we do, we're considering a holistic approach to health and well-being. And that holistic ancestral orientation, emotional release program that we run is looking at repeated generational patterns. And we will always find the history of a dis-ease, a disorder, or an emotional pattern coming from mom or dad or granny or grandpa. It's hard facts. It's not maybe. It's always hidden there. And what we are doing is we took those molecules of emotion at the time of birth when the blood passed and the DNA passed, and we're reliving generational patterns. That's called epigenetics. And one of the most unique aspects of my HIELO process is recognizing that awareness often precedes meaningful change. So, I endeavor to raise people's, assist them raise their self-awareness. Once we can see ourselves, it's a different ball game. And I just had a lady now, and she's angry with her husband, and she's resigned herself to this fact, etc., but she's sounding a lot more surrendered and in control than 6 weeks ago. And then I said to her, she said, my whole life I haven't put myself first. And I've told him this. And I said to her, what did your husband come to teach you? What lesson? And she said, she said, to put myself first. And I said to her, that is game over. You know why he came. You know what he's done. He's achieved his mission. No more blame, no more discussion, no more anything. Follow your path. Congratulations, you have now realized that you need to put yourself first. And that's all these people are mirrors, whether they are our husband, our best friend, our work colleagues, etc. They are just mirrors assisting us along our pathway. We need to find out what they came to teach us. Once you know that, there's instant surrender. And we can go and find the origin of what we've just learned and clear that memory. So the goal of the HIELO release, apart from helping people explore these recurring emotional patterns, beliefs, and experiences that influence the way they live, they're living non-functionally, not functioning 100% at all. So it's not about revisiting the past either. It's increasing awareness to support healthier choices, making people move forward with greater freedom. And I always say, we want to think clearly, live productively in all areas of our life, 365 days a year, fully functional human beings. So within that HIELO process of mine, we've got the 4 phases: reset, restore, rejuvenate, and rejoice. And we will do a benchmark assessment. We will look at realignment of the root causes based on the realignment of their risk factors based on the root causes, and we will have a look at live blood analysis, quantum assessment machines, and oxygen drips, infrared saunas, acupuncture, the 365 Healthy by Choice signature range, which is completely natural. Integrate all of this into a holistic you and put together a well-being package that all you need to do is follow. It's like a flower just opening. And I see the blossoms every day. And it's too beautiful. The miracles just continue to come through. Makes me happy, and it's part of my path. So, we need to become aware, first of all, of what's out. Understand the body, the choices we're making, and the risks. And then we want to support the biology, the mind, the emotions, and the lifestyle. And as we do this, the body naturally, according to its own innate wisdom and innate ability to heal, renews itself, it grows, adapts, and develops resilience. And then the rejoicing phase is where we just start living differently, on another frequency completely. We think differently, we see things differently, we perceive differently, and we live a healthier legacy. So I always say there's 7 foundations. We've got to nourish the body. Of course, these cells need to operate. They need oxygen. They need food, glucose. They need charged electrons. The body, basically, it needs sunshine. It needs earthing, air, water. Nourishment, detoxifying, cleansing, oxygenating, alkalinizing the body. The body then needs to communicate holistically in an integrated way. We need circulation. We need the lymph to flow. We need digestion. We need the organs to be in sync. There needs to be intercommunication within the body. We need to protect the body. We need to build resistance, immunity, support the genetic structure. Most importantly, the DNA blueprint. And then allow the regeneration to naturally occur according to each individual. And that is how we then adapt and grow, adapt and grow, adapt and grow, following those phases of the HIELO process. And we will then end up in thriving and flourishing. And it really is as simple as that. So it's very exciting, and I urge you all to climb on the bandwagon and come in. Start your journey. It will always be starting with the compass, and pinpointing your risk factors, the root cause, and then how we're going to realign. And then the question I'm going to say to you is, when your grandchildren look back one day, what will they inherit? Not simply financially, but physically, emotionally, behaviorally, spiritually. Will they inherit healthier habits, greater resilience, hope? Or will they inherit the consequences of choices we never changed? That is why prevention matters. So every symptom invites us to become more aware. Don't discount any symptom. A sore knee on the right, what does it mean? The right is the masculine, the left is the feminine. For example, nothing is a coincidence. Understanding creates choice. Choices change behavior. Behavior influences biology. Biology shapes our well-being. And together, those choices become the legacy we leave our future generations. Epigenetics. So book your assessment, the HIELO assessment. You can do it straight online. It's 1 hour. You will learn more than you've ever learned in any consultation you've ever been to. Learn more about the holistic ancestral orientation, the HOW process. On my website, you will see the emotional release information. Explore my signature nutrient system. the 365 Healthy by Choice range, Pure Natural Unique, and join the next masterclass. And this is where we start thinking clearly, living productively, and thriving 365 days a year. So until next Thursday, keep asking better questions. Thank you.